This is Blugold News Now, your spot for current events, campus news, and everything in between. Now live from Tower Studio, it's BNN with your hosts, Elizabeth Lindahl and Samantha Burnett.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Burnett.
And I'm Elizabeth Lindahl.
Coming up tonight, a student favorite event returning to UWEC.
A look into the Viennese Ball.
And your weekly recap of Blugold Sports on BNN Blitz.
But first, some updates on the Student Senate elections. Blugold's taking to the Qualtrics polls this week in preparation for the 2025-2026 Student Senate elections. The polls closed on Wednesday night with results promised shortly after. Unfortunately, at the time of this filming, we do not have those results. However, the student body did vote for a new president and vice president team, as well as several on and off-campus senators. Election results should be in students' emails by Thursday.
Last Thursday, April 11th, Flynn Elementary School in Eau Claire started a 2-week-long fundraiser to help kids learn about composting. According to WKOW, the students recycle their food after lunch into a compost bin, which is then sent to Earthbound Environmental Solutions to be bagged. The bagged compost will be sold to families to use for their gardens, holding 1 cubic foot of compost and costing $25. Half of the money will be donated back to the elementary school to purchase composting supplies and plants for the school garden. This is the first year the school is using the fundraiser to teach the kids about the importance of keeping the earth clean, and they are hoping to raise $1,200.
Well, Easter Sunday is right around the corner, and several local organizations are offering meals for the community. Both Hope Gospel Mission and the Community Table are offering meals. Hope Gospel's meal will take place Saturday, April 19th from 11:30 to 1, and the Community Tables will be on Easter Sunday, April 20th from 3 to 4. Both nonprofits allow for the meals to be dine-in or carry-out. Community members say they look forward to the annual events as they have become family traditions. The events are also looking for donations and volunteers to help serve. For more information, you can visit weau.com.
Tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., there will be a bark break in the campus mall. While UWEC is no stranger to bark breaks on campus, this one holds a special place, as it is the first Sue Stroig Memorial Bark Break of the semester. Sue Stroig was a UWEC alum who graduated from the nursing program in 1976. Sue was the owner of 5 dogs, but sadly passed away in 2021. Despite some health challenges throughout her life, Sue's family said she always had a positive attitude. Her family continues to share her memory through these bark breaks on campus. If you are interested in learning more about who Sue was, there's a Spectator article titled, "How the Sue Stroig Memorial Bark Break Came to Be." You know, I was looking into this, and I think it's really cool how much the university takes time to recognize people. You know, whether that's through scholarships or, you know, events like Circa where students can show what research they're doing, or even just, you know, recognition for alum. I think it's really cool how many different ways students and past alum can be recognized on campus.
Yeah, and I think that also the bark break is a really great idea. You know, we're coming back after spring break a couple of weeks ago where a lot of students got to be home with their pets.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that now, you know, you're missing your pets. And also, there's just so much evidence that having animals like dogs around helps calm, you know, the nervous system and everything. And so I'm sure that that really helps students as we're kind of gearing up for finals right now. And
yeah,
everyone just needs a furry friend to have fun with.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, BNN will be right back after this break.
Stick around for your weather forecast and an update on Blugold Sports on BNN Blitz.
Do you need the closer? It's time. Bring in the closer. Alright, listen. Multiple choice versus short answer. Watch the curveball on question 8, alright? This teacher's a hard grader and it's a trick question, alright? Canvas is yours.
Welcome back to BNN. Earlier this month, the 50th annual Viennese Ball was held at UWEC.
BNN's Cora Letterer has more on all of the festivities.
The University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire just celebrated their 50th anniversary of the annual Viennese Ball in Davies on Saturday, April 4th and 5th.
My favorite part about b-ball has to be the dancing because it's just so much fun to get the difference between the orchestra groups and the jazz groups. I have a couple of friends in both, so it's fun to hear both of them making music and dance along.
Genres range from waltz by the University Symphony Orchestra to big band set standards by the Jazz Ensemble, with various student and faculty performances. Students enjoy having the opportunity to support their friends and faculty while also being able to dress up.
I am a part of WOCO, the Women's Concert Chorale on campus, and we sing at the opening ceremony. So we sing the national anthem, and then we sang 3 of our own ensemble songs this year. And it's just a really great thing to get to be a part of every year, and this is my 3rd year doing it, and I really love it.
I'm just here for fun. I'm here just as a student, and I've come to support Latte and watch, and my boyfriend's also in the orchestra, so I've just come to support a lot of people and just have fun, and I love wearing big sparkly dresses.
I am in the a cappella group, Fifth Element, and we perform a set each year of b-ball. All the a cappella groups actually perform on the first floor. At around the beginning of the night, we each take turns, so that's a lot of fun to do.
The Viennese Ball takes place every April and is considered to be the largest Viennese ball outside of Vienna. Proceeds from the event support scholarships in the music, theater, and arts department. It's a wonderful opportunity to enjoy a memorable evening while also contributing to the future of the arts. For BNN, I'm Cora Lederer. Back to you, Sam and Elizabeth.
Thanks, Cora. Evan is back this week with your BNN weather.
Over to you, Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan Claymar, and I host Sounds of the Valley at UWEC's TV 10 station. If you're anything like me, you love live music. Well, on my show, I take the live music and I give it to you. I take the finest musical talent from the Chippewa Valley area, and I bring it directly to your screen. So if that sounds interesting, check it out at mytv10.uwec.edu or on our YouTube channel at UWEC TV 10.
Thank you, Sam and Elizabeth. Good evening. I'm Evan Rosnick with your weather report tonight. Well, it sure has been a while, and I hope you've all been enjoying your semester so far. While we were gone, we saw some unexpected conditions, reaching back into winter a little bit. You can thank Puxatawny Phil for shutting us down for 2 weeks, so I couldn't warn you about that weather. Fortunately, I had a little talk with that rodent, and he's going to help me improve the weather from here on out. Take today, for example. We saw mostly sunny skies and had an average temperature of about 50 degrees, with a high of 58 and a low of 41. I'd say that's quite the improvement from the past week. Now to look ahead into the coming week, we'll start with some storms tomorrow in the afternoon, but we'll have a high of 65 and a low of 49. Friday will cool it down just a bit, bringing us to a high of 58 and a low of 34 with some morning April showers. Saturday keeps some similar temperatures at a high of 53 and a low of 31. Sunday and Monday will have some similar conditions, both bringing more April showers and highs of 59 degrees with lows of 38 and 36 degrees respectively. Tuesday and Wednesday we'll have partly cloudy weather with highs of 64 degrees, 61 degrees, and 43 degrees and 38 degrees. Looking around the region here, Eau Claire and Menominee are sitting at a nice 53 degrees. Going a little bit north of that, Chippewa Falls is at 51 degrees. Red Wing and Lake City, Minnesota are both at 55 degrees, and Bloomington and Minneapolis are both 2 degrees warmer at 57 degrees. That's all I have for you this week. Come back next week to see if Puxatawny Phil holds up his end of the bargain and continues to give us good weather for the foreseeable future. For your BNN weather, live, I'm Evan Rosnick. Now with your updates on Blugold Sports, let's head over to David and Andrew.
B5.
Well, I got a 7, so +2.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we should probably read the directions next time.
Probably. You know what does make sense? Game show. Hi, I'm Abe.
And I'm Somerset.
We're the host of Game Show.
If you want to see us play more games like this, or Jeopardy!
Or The Price is Right.
Check us out on mytv10.uwec.edu.
And if you ever want to be in one of our episodes, make sure to scan the QR code somewhere on the screen. Peace.
Welcome to BNN Blitz. I'm your host, David Abel.
And I'm Andrew Thaler. Welcome to your weekly recap of Blugold Sports action.
Heading into the weekend of April 12th and 13th, Blugold's women's tennis program held a record of 11-8 in a 3-match winning streak. On the 12th, the Blugolds traveled to Iowa and faced Central College. Samantha Fuchs won her singles match in 2 sets, 6-3 and 6-3. The rest of the singles matches for the Blugolds followed with victories, as they swept the singles matches 6-0. Fuchs and Anna Lee cruised to a 6-1 doubles victory. The Blugolds won all 3 double matches and completed the sweep, defeating Central 7-0. After the big win, the team stayed in Iowa and faced number 41 ranked Grinnell College. While 3 singles for the Blugolds were able to reach a 3rd set, Grinnell swept the singles matches, earning 6 points. A bright spot for the Blugolds on Sunday was yet again Fuchs and Lee, as they won their doubles match 6-2. Grinnell won the other 2 matches, clinching a 7-0 victory. The Blugolds, now 12-9, travel to Whitewater to compete in the WAG Championships Saturday, April 26th.
The women's lacrosse team experienced a week of contrasting emotions, represented by a record-breaking victory and the end of their winning streak. Junior Devin Cruz became the 5th player in program history to reach the 100-score milestone. Cruz earned this achievement during another monumental achievement for the Blugolds. The Blugolds also broke their single-game scoring record for the 2nd time in a week, earning 30 goals while only giving up 8 against Southwestern University. However, the Blugolds lost their 4-game win streak on April 14th during their game against St. Benedict. The Blugolds trailed at the half 8-3 and were unable to make up the deficit, falling with a final score of 12-6.
Men's and women's track and field teams competed at the UW Platteville Invitational on Friday and Saturday. The Blugolds had several event winners in their 2nd outdoor meet of the season. Starting with the men, Adam Strofe heaved a Division III leading throw in the shot put at 18.32 meters, beating his season best set last weekend. The throwers continued their success, with Jakub Akua winning discus with a throw of 56 meters and Tommy Mesnick winning javelin throw, throwing 55.14 meters. Then Troy Verstrati won the steeplechase with a time of 10 minutes, 13 seconds. A 4x4 comprised of Harrison Cull, Connor Jankowski, Jack Schreiber, and Cameron Pease won with a time of 3 minutes, 14 seconds, and 57 milliseconds. Mason Shea, Jack Hassey-Withborough, and Andrew Thaler entered the record books for UWEC on Friday, all running in the 5K. Mason and Jack are now 3rd and 8th respectively on the all-time 5K list for Eau Claire running team, running times of 14 minutes, 9 seconds, and 86 milliseconds, and 14 minutes, 26 seconds, and 86 milliseconds respectively. Andrew is now 6th on the all-time freshman list with a time of 15 minutes and 2 seconds. Now the women's 4x4 team were back at it on Saturday. The team comprised of Emily Booker, Maya Cinemo, Allison Cakes, and Kylie Grabarski won with a time of 3 minutes, 50 seconds, and 61 milliseconds. Mackenzie Cruz was able to win the 400 hurdle running and jumping at a time 1 minute, 4 seconds, and 59 milliseconds. Lastly, Hannah Greeno won the women's steeplechase with a time of 12 minutes, 38 seconds, and 67 milliseconds. The Blugolds will compete at Phil Estein Challenge on April 16th and 17th at UW La Crosse.
The baseball team fell in the 4-game set against UW Oshkosh on Saturday and Sunday at Carson Park, 10-0, 17-5, 2-0, and 14-2. The first 2 games were dropped in the 7th innings due to the mercy rules in college. The Titans held the Blugolds to 3 hits in Game 1. A pair of homers helped UW Oshkosh build a 5-run lead through 4 innings, and the Blugolds couldn't recover. The score remained 5-0 through 6 innings before the Titans played 5 more in the 7th. Brennan Cohen started Game 1 and pitched 6 innings, giving up 5 runs. The Blugolds fell into a hole early again in Game 2, and despite a late push, couldn't crawl back. UW Oshkosh scored 4 runs in the 2nd inning to take the lead and led 13-1. After 5.5 innings, UW Eau Claire pushed back with 4 runs in the 6th, getting RBI singles from Cole Clausen, Kyle Babin, and Braden Tillman to cut the lead to 13-5. But Oshkosh added more runs, leading to the Blugolds to lose 17-5 in 7 innings. Evan Fisher struck out 6 for the Blugolds in his 5-inning start. Now, moving on to Sunday's games, Nicholas Muser turned in one of his best outings of his career to keep the Blugolds in Game 1 of the day. The right-handed pitcher pitched 9 and struck out 5. It was the first 9-inning start by a Blugold pitcher since the 2023 season. Muser's masterful stint kept the Titans off the board, but UW Oshkosh was equally effective on the mound. They kept the Blugold scoreless through 9, and the game went into extra innings. The Titans finally broke through in the 12th inning using an RBI double to break the stalemate before adding another run on an RBI triple. The Bluegolds didn't have an answer in the bottom half of the frame, leading to the loss. Drew Salyers went 3 for 6 in the loss. It was his 10th multi-hit game of the year. UW Oshkosh broke open Game 2, having a 7-run lead before the Bluegolds could answer. The Bluegolds did score 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th off singles from Connor Weick and Cade Mueller. Oshkosh, though, did score 7 more runs, 6 coming in the 9th, leading to the Bluegolds' loss 14-2. The Bluegolds continue WIAC play with a 4-game series at UW La Crosse on April 18th and 19th. The April 18th doubleheader begins at 1 p.m.
That's all for World of Blugold Sports. I'm David Abel.
And I'm Andrew Thaler. Back to you, Sam and Elizabeth.
Thank you, David and Eli. Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight this week. We will be looking into a popular new movie, giving an update on the movie world, and talking about one of the top music festivals each year.
That's right. We'll be talking about the Minecraft movie and Coachella. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so the first main thing I wanted to talk about was the Minecraft movie. I haven't seen it, but it came out, I think it was April 4th, and it's been interesting because a lot of people have been acting really poorly in the movie theaters. I mean, as you can see, like, people are throwing popcorn. I've seen things of people throwing slushies in the air. So it's a nightmare for them to have to clean up. Somehow people are also managing to get real live chickens in the movie theater. I don't know if they're stuffing them in a little bag or what. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's been happening a lot. Apparently it happens mainly during one scene. There's this chicken jockey scene, apparently, which I might spoil it a little bit, but apparently during the movie, a baby zombie resembling a child is seen riding a chicken, prompting Jack Black's character, Steve, to call it a chicken jockey. And I don't know if it's some sort of, I think it's like some sort of TikTok trend, but apparently during that scene is when people like, I've seen so many videos of teenage boys just standing up, screaming, throwing their popcorn, getting on each other's shoulders, also with live chickens sometimes. Why this
Oh,
is
that's
happening?
a literal chicken in
Yes,
the photo.
I'm not kidding. I've seen videos where people have a literal
Oh.
chicken. That's why I'm like, I don't know if they're stuffing them into like a big tote bag or why, because I wouldn't want a chicken to also poop on me in the movie theater.
Right,
Like,
and also,
they
wouldn't
kind
it
of stink.
make noise?
Yeah, I mean, they might.
You would
They're
expect
not
them to make
always
noise.
super noisy, but
Yeah, well, and speaking of Jack Black, he actually went to the
Yes.
movie theater one day. I was like, hey guys, like, it's time to chill.
yeah,
Like,
because this is insane. I mean, I feel like recently, like, people have been losing movie theater etiquette. You know, with Wicked, there was also problems with that because people were like singing too loudly as if it was like a sing-along.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of crazy. Like, I feel like a sing-along, okay, that's might be annoying if it's not your thing, but to throw like popcorn and slushies in the air, like all of this, it's horrible.
Right. Well, and also with the sing-along, you know, when the Eras Tour movie came out back in November 2023, everyone was, you know, people were going to the movie theaters and giving whole concerts in the movie theater. And I went to a showing of it opening weekend where it was actually very calm. You know, people were just kind of like sitting, like humming, dancing along in their seats, but I would see videos of people literally doing the choreography.
Which, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, you know, we all love Wicked, we all love the Eras Tour, but it's like, I think so many of us have not been to the theater in so long that now that we're back into it, we're forgetting how we act in it.
Yeah, which, you know, I could see that with, you know, Wicked and the Eras Tour. You know, at least they're just, well, I guess Eras Tour was choreography, but when they're singing along, like, I might find it annoying, some people might not, but throwing out your popcorn and getting on each other's shoulders in the middle of a movie because of some scene, that's a bit much.
Well, and I wonder, you know, with the whole chicken jockey thing, if they're getting on each other's shoulders like the pool game chicken.
Oh, yeah.
But still, Why are we bringing
Yeah.
live chickens into a movie theater?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, how are we doing that?
Because they're also not going to want to, like, sit there for that long.
Yeah, if you know how we're getting chickens into movie theaters, please leave a comment on our YouTube page at UWC TV10.
But yeah, it's very interesting. And, you know, one other thing quick with movies.
Yes.
We've talked about this a few times on our pro show. The Snow White movie, I guess kind of like a quick little update on it, is that apparently Rachel Ziegler has been, like, Disney decided to scale her back. I've heard rumors that they've dropped her, but I think they made a statement saying that, like, they just were going to scale her back from, like, promotional campaigns and just not have her be the face of a lot of it when promoting it. So I thought that was interesting to hear an update on that.
Yeah, I've heard very similar things in the sense that they're kind of pulling her back on the press tour, which she made some controversial statements before the movie came out, and now that the movie's come out, you know, she's making it more, which I've heard her voice in the movie. I have not seen the movie yet, just heard the soundtrack. She sounds gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the movie looks great, the costuming looks great and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what this means for her future as an actress.
Yes,
because in the past year or two, she's had 2 really big movies between Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and now Snow White. And so it'll be interesting to see what, you know, happens next for her.
Yeah.
In that sense.
It will be.
Yeah. Well, switching gears, Coachella weekend 1 was last weekend. Bringing with some fabulous headliners of Lady Gaga, Green Day, and Post Malone. And then some other fun performances that were there were Benson Boone, Megan Thee Stallion, Charlie XCX, Shabuzi, Becky G, Ed Sheeran, and the one that surprised me the most, Yo Gabba Gabba.
That's crazy.
I used to be a mega fan of the show when I was younger. I love Yo Gabba Gabba. I started seeing things on Instagram because I do not have TikTok anymore, of people dancing with, I forget the name, but the red guy from Yo Gabba Gabba, and I was like, what are we doing here?
That's such an odd place for them to have a performance.
Like, it's Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah.
And then you also have, like, Megan Thee Stallion, and
yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's a little interesting. Also,
Yeah.
Becky G, you know, sometimes I think of her as a one-hit wonder with her song Shower, which came out way back forever ago.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to see her back, and actually she's with a giant tiger. So I would love to I'm going to have to dive in more to some of her new music.
Not
But
gonna lie.
along with Coachella, you know, we had Lady Gaga headlining, which Gaga always has her fun outfits.
Yes.
And I heard that she kind of tricked the crowd into thinking that it was over. Her set was over, and then she came out and did Bad Romance right afterwards.
Oh, I have seen stuff on that, yes.
And so people were like leaving, and then all of a sudden everyone's running back, which, I mean, Lady Gaga, I would love to see her in concert. She sounds fabulous to see.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of really interesting outfits for fans. Like, for example, our lovely friend up here in the corner has Coke cans in her hair and, like, spikes on her top. And
I've never really understood Coachella fashion. I think there's a lot of fashion trends I don't understand, but I don't know, it's always really weird. Like, I know they're in California, it's hot, but, like, some of the outfits, like, I feel like they're always putting, like, fishnets or, like, weird things over their outfits. I've seen some really, really weird outfits from influencers. So, I don't know, it's always very weird, but, you know, I feel like that's what happens when a lot of influencers are in one place.
I was going to say, it seems like every year the outfits get more creative and more intense.
Yes.
You know, there are some influencers who show up in very, very cute outfits, like very simple, and then there are the ones who go all out. Like, I remember a couple years ago, James Charles had an outfit that stunned everyone. But it's just, honestly, I always really like to see what fashion trends or what outfits are going to show up every year. And especially with some of these artists who have been popular for several years, you know, it's kind of across the board with rock and pop and children's music, I guess, with Yo Gabba Gabba. Like, it was a very wide variety of fashion this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Coachella is interesting. I have been seeing a lot on it, mainly on Benson Boone's performance. I cannot remember, but I know that he brought on someone else. I cannot remember their name at all, but I just always remember seeing videos of people being, like, making comments on how the crowd just aren't really hyping things up. Like, do you know who I'm talking about, or do you not know what I
think I remember what you're talking
I know
about.
he brought on, like, an old guitarist. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Rocket Man? No?
No.
I don't know what they're saying. But anyways.
Our team is in the back trying to get us the information.
I'm sorry, I cannot remember their name. But I know it was, like, a very popular song, and it was a very popular performer.
And Benson Boone also did a...
I'm sorry for the disappointment.
So sorry, guys.
I have very limited music taste.
Benson Boone did a backflip off of, like, a 2-story structure.
I feel like that's just Benson Boone at this
Benson
point.
Boone. But it was like, people weren't even really reacting to that. And I'm like,
yeah.
he just did a backflip, like, off of a huge structure. But that's okay.
Well, that was one comment I was going to make. I have seen, like, a lot of things. I feel like with how things are today, I think a lot of people are disappointed with Coachella because everything nowadays is so much influencers, and people just trying to get out there for that I feel like, you know, especially if prices are rocketing, people might not be able to afford it. I also would not want to do camping. Like, they have tents and camping there. I personally would not want to do that.
No.
But I feel like a lot of people have been more disappointed because of the amount of, like, influencers that are just kind of taking over, which I think can kind of lead to these, like, lack of actual excitement towards the artist because they're just there to get videos, content, whatever, and might not actually care.
Yeah, and there was the influencer who created the song to the Charlie XCX, created the dance to the Charlie XCX song. And they actually showed her while, you know, Charlie was singing the song. And everyone was going crazy and, you know, everyone's doing the dance. And it was just, that moment was really fun. And then I was watching other parts of her performance and the crowd was kind of like dead, which I guess, you know, she's not an artist that
everyone knows.
Yeah, she's not one of the mainstream artists and she wasn't a headliner, but it was like, people should still, like, be hyped for, I think, across the board. And but yeah.
So Coachella is always interesting. Always an
Coachella
interesting
is
time.
always interesting. I kind of want to go one year just to experience it, but who knows? We'll see. Well, that's all that we have for you tonight.
Join us next week for your latest news, updates, and weather.
Make sure to check us out on mytv10.uwec.edu and at UWEC on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I'm Elizabeth Lindahl.
And I'm Samantha Burnett. Thank you and good night.